Welcome to 75 Stories, a podcast created to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Normandale Lutheran Church in Edina, Minnesota.
I am David Holm, and I served as senior pastor of Normandale for 16 years. I would characterize my 16 years at Normandale Lutheran Church as a complete miracle of God, called to a congregation of great vision, great risk, and great faith. I faced a number of challenges in my 16 years here. When I first arrived, to know the congregation, but first of all, to listen to the whole congregation and discover what their priorities were for ministry and mission. Then to go to a period of outreach, not just inreach, where the congregation and mission took on the gospel imperatives of serving the poor, of doing mission, of being out in the community so we weren't this insular community. And then in the last period of my ministry here, to see what God had wrought in terms of this is a community of vibrant risk and faith that wants to make a difference in the world for Jesus Christ. When I think of the impetus for beginning Normandale House, I came to this congregation deeply rooted in ministry to the homeless. And when I arrived here, we talked at some length about how we could make a difference in the lives of people who were homeless, not just in here's a bed for 30 days, but in providing housing and context, employment, schooling, and serving homeless families. And then when I think of the Center for Healing and Wholeness, I was caught one day with my suit on, I'm a formal dresser, out in front of one of our residents' or members' houses mowing their lawn in 90-degree heat with my suit on. And I had been inside and seen this wonderful couple aging in place, and they were struggling. And I came back here and I thought to myself, wait a minute, we have all these elders aging in place who have multiple needs. How can we reach out to them and serve them? How can we honor their lives and not have them living with great challenges with no assistance? The impetus for these programs would be that we would live out the gospel, be doers of the word and not hearers only. And what I most hoped was that we would be transformed by serving the poor, not that we would be benefited or our consciences assuaged by serving the poor. That we would be those who stood with elders. One of my biases is I think we do not serve elders. Our culture does not value wisdom, does not value the aged. And we had this great dream that we were going to stand with people as they aged in place. I am so emotionally delighted by what I see happening with Normandale House and the dreams of its future, because it is a very difficult, exacting, demanding, and often frustrating ministry to serve the homeless. And the vision that I have caught is one that will continue to be the ultimate gift of this congregation in doing the gospel. When I see what's happening with the Center for Healing and Wholeness, and I become acquainted with what's happening with providing support to those who suffer with Alzheimer's disease and their caregivers, I am deeply grateful. It's way beyond what I could have ever hoped for or we could have envisioned as a congregation for both of those ministries. If I were to share my ultimate joy in serving as senior pastor of this congregation, it is the young people who were called to the ministry of word and sacrament. And I'd like to remember all of them today. Breen Olsen Sipes, Maida Herrick Carlson, Matthew Stortz, Matthew Schroeder, Anders Peterson, Eric Hoffer, and Patty Collins Beadle. Those young people during my tenure as pastor, now serving the church, were raised up in this congregation. That's my singular joy. My favorite memory of being the senior pastor at Normandale Lutheran Church is standing before the cross on Good Friday and hearing the Normandale choir sing, "When I Survey the Wondrous Cross," and knowing that Jesus died for me.
We are so glad you joined us today here at 75 Stories. If you'd like to share your own story, please contact Christy Shepard at kshepard@normluth.org. Join us next week for another story, and share this podcast with your friends and family. We are all part of the Normandale community.